For our ad review today, we'll be looking at Manscaped. Figured this would be a fun series where we can look at companies on YouTube ads and see what they do well and maybe what they don't do so well. Figured this could be an awesome learning experience for us all to really look at marketing and sales and advertisements, try to figure out what people do well so that we can learn. I think there's two questions that exist within our head when we first watch an advertisement. Number one, is this advertisement for me? And number two, do I need to keep watching? And I think the second one is answered by a hook point. And this is essentially where you are watching the ad and you reach a hook point where you are more interested in continuing to watch and understand what the advertisement's about, as against maybe skipping the ad or turning your attention to something else. Those two questions are essentially what I'm always looking for, and I'm fascinated with how quickly the company can reach the hook point with the consumers. We begin this ad by looking at a really attractive woman with revealing clothing here outside in the wilderness. I think the first couple words that were cut off is "men, take care of your balls." So we certainly have a very male-oriented advertisement. That is because we have this attractive woman right in our face. She's front and center. But also I want you to check out the environment. It's almost like it's from a time before where, men can be more masculine with axes and you're out in the woods chopping wood. One thing to consider is where this woman is positioned. They want your attention front and center, and all the focus is on her specifically. And I think there's a reason for that. I think they understand that they want to reach the hook point immediately. And in my opinion, I think they do so right from the start. I do find that her outfit is kind of contradictory. She has this spaghetti strap tank top with some ripped jeans in an environment that's supposed to represent some medieval times, which is kind of contradictory, but it's certainly interesting.
Use the MANSCAPED LAWNMOWER 3.0.
I think they immediately go into introducing the product to the audience because they know your attention is front and center right then and there. I want you to notice where the positioning of the product is. It's actually in the exact same position that she was, because most likely your visuals were right on her, and now all of a sudden the product is right in your face in the same position. So now you have complete conscious thought and attention onto the product itself. I think the product name is really intriguing as well, because when we see lawnmower, most men are going to think, wow, the lawnmower is something that goes outside where we mow the grass. But now we're introduced to this really small object that could be used for mowing a different area.
Is the best trimmer in the market for manscaping, period.
As a full body trimmer, I do recommend the 3.0.
This thing is awesome and it comes with a ton of great features.
I think this is really good branding by this company because they're introducing the product being used in person so you can see that it works. But also, did you notice the placement of Manscaped? They're using these boxers that they've created, so your conscious mind is on the product working. However, your subconscious can pick up the wording outside of where your main focus might be. So you're already getting brand awareness without even realizing it. I like that they keep the testimonial really short. To me, there is nothing worse than a long drawn out 15 to 20 second testimonial in the middle of an ad. I also find it fascinating what they're doing here on the screen. So they introduce the product in the packaging, which doesn't really make much sense, except I think this is another way to get the audience into the brand in the product itself, because remember, they're targeting men. I'm guessing younger males in their 20s and 30s. I think this type of advertisement is better suited for that demographic. Maybe middle-aged or older men would respond as well, but this definitely feels like a younger audience. And I do find it interesting that we in this picture right here, we have essentially all black. Everything you're looking at is all black. Of course, the table isn't, but your focus is on this product that's all black. But because of the contrast in the coloring for the text on the left-hand side, I think it's natural for your eyes to be drawn to it. And immediately you read, "Your balls will thank you," which is wording that young men would use. This almost feels like we're in a locker room where we're like, hey buddy, I've got this product. This is why I'm so groomed. Your balls will thank you when you use this. And I feel like this is a company that is very aware of who their ideal audience is. And this is just another way for you to get connected. I mean, just in 12 seconds, I already feel pretty connected because I feel like I'm the ideal target market.
You can manscape down there properly without nicking your balls.
So you can get a close trim without leaving any ingrown hairs or cuts.
That's already safe enough. I don't know how they can make it even better.
I think a common worry of consumers for a product like this would be, what is the effect on the skin? You're going to a sensitive area. What happens if maybe the skin is agitated by this device? So I think with them showing that, it is an example of what would happen when the device comes in contact with the skin, and it clearly shows that it is no effect. They know that this is probably going to be the biggest objection. That's probably why it goes in the kind of the beginning portion of the ad. So my guess is they're introducing that first to remove that objection. Something I want you to notice that's already happened, but also as we transition further into the ad, is how quickly they transition. It is really interesting to see how quickly they move from audio and visual elements to the next set. What happens is when you're watching advertisement, it's easy to go in autopilot mode where you kind of tune out the ad. This in YouTube, you only have potentially 5 seconds to get their attention. But when you're generally looking at advertisements, you might go in autopilot and kind of tune out what they're saying. And so what happens is they're using what is called pattern interrupt, which is essentially where they're changing your pattern. And that is basically shifting your attention in your conscious mind into what's on the screen. And they do it really effectively because everything is like 3 seconds, just right in your face. Audio and visual elements changing every 3 or 4 seconds. And just as a side note, one of the main reasons why I made the Authentic or Charlatan series to bring awareness to unethical practices of sales and marketing is because advertising can be dangerous. When consumers kind of snap out of the conscious mode, maybe they lose focus a little bit, but they're still being talked to and their subconscious mind is picking up elements of the advertisement, that is when you can be manipulated. And that is why there are a lot of regulations on advertising.
More battery life, waterproof, and a dope charger dock.
We bumped up the RPMs to 7,000 RPM.
So the first thing I noticed is when you turn it on, it has this LED light.
It's really important for places that you just can't see well.
And if you sign up for their peak hygiene plan, you will also get replacement blades sent to your house every 3 months.
This next segment, I think, is them hoping that you've been hooked to the point where now they can start introducing all the benefits of the product. Also notice that all the physiques they're using are pretty attractive, which is one of the oldest tricks in marketing, is to always use attractive people. I mentioned it before, but did you get a chance to notice how quickly they transition from audio elements to visual elements? What I find interesting is there is almost no wasted time at all in this advertisement. They are very quick. The second an audio clip ends, the next audio element is introduced right away. It's almost like they're not wasting any milliseconds.
It's the right tool for the job.
She's back. I really like her. Her recommendation obviously holds a lot of weight in this product because she is a very attractive woman and the target market is likely to listen.
So how can I get my hands on one of those?
Check out our new Perfect Package 3.0. So not only are you gonna get the new lawnmower, a myriad of grooming products, we're gonna include a toiletry bag, a free pair of boxers, and then on top of that, free shipping. You ain't gonna regret it.
The purpose of the end of an ad is to essentially take all the people who are neutral, who have not yet turned off from the ad, and to turn them into purchase mode, to try and tip them from that neutral position into a buyer. Overall, I think this was a great ad. There's really nothing I can critique or say that they did poorly. It was very condensed. I felt like there was no wasted time, which is really important to the consumer. I felt like they really spoke to their target market really well. They had a very clear target audience. They provided a lot of visual elements to really remove objections. I thought at the end, they also made it pretty easy to get hands on the product. You'll see some advertisements will make it very difficult for the consumer to even figure out how to buy the product. I thought they made it very easy. They added a lot of elements where it's free this, free that, a lot of bonuses. And at the end, there was just a very simple button to press. I think I'm gonna go with the 8.7 for this ad. I really liked it. I thought it was excellent. What do you guys think? Please let me know in the comments. Let's have this serve kind of as a learning experience for us all. I think it'd be really fun if there's something that you picked up that I wasn't able to, or if you're much better at analyzing ads, I'd love to hear your opinions. Thanks for watching.